Welcome to Frywall Fridays. Today we're making a fried green tomato sandwich. Now, we usually associate green tomatoes with the springtime, but you also have a lot of leftover green tomatoes in the fall, and a lot of parts of the country you can still find these in farmers markets. Now, green tomatoes are great because they're really zesty, they have a great texture, but usually this time of year you just see people pickling them. But it's great to still cook them, and we're going to do something a little bit differently. Usually when you see green tomatoes, they are deep fried. We are going to actually just pan fry them, and you'll see the texture and the color come out wonderfully. You're going to throw in a few onions at the end to char up, give it a little bit more umami, put them on top of toast with cheese, and you're going to have one of the best sandwiches you're going to have this season. Let's get started. The ingredients can't be much simpler. We got our green tomatoes, a little bit of onion, we have some nice French country bread, and we have some cheddar cheese. Other types of cheeses can also work really well. Swiss cheese or French type hard cheese like a Gruyere or a Comté would be perfect. And we'll start by throwing the bread into the oven on a broiler to get that toasted. Next we'll put the cheese on top, and then we'll get going on the vegetables. While the bread is toasting, I'll cut up the vegetables, and the tomatoes we're just going to cut into about 1/4-inch slices, like that. And the onion I will slice a little bit thinner. And we're done with the prep. Alright, so we got the bread toasted here. I'm just going to put the cheese on top, like that. And then I'll put it back in the oven to melt. I got to keep a close eye on it so it doesn't burn. I'll put it back in the oven to melt, and while that's doing that, we'll fry up the tomatoes. I have my pan nice and hot. I'm going to add a little bit of high temperature vegetable oil and swirl that around. And now I'll go ahead and put in my tomatoes. And as much as you can, try to put them in a single layer. And once you're flattened out, let them just sit there for a couple minutes so they can start getting charred. Leave that like that, and it'll take a couple minutes, and once you see the tomatoes starting to get charred, then flip them over, give the other side a chance to get some color. The second side has had a chance to cook a little bit. At this point, we'll go ahead and just throw in the onions and stir fry everything for just maybe 30 seconds, a minute, just so the onions begin to soften. And also add a nice pinch of salt. That looks great, and we're ready to put this sandwich together. Alright, let's put this sandwich together. Wow, this looks really beautiful. Alright, so we got our bread here that we toasted with the cheese. You can see it went a little bit long in the oven, but I think that looks really, really good. And we'll put the onions with the green tomatoes right here on top. The colors are actually really kind of interesting and beautiful as well. And you can see that the tomatoes got nicely charred. And it's a kind of different flavor profile than normal fried green tomatoes, which I like as well, but it's nice to not have something that's necessarily deep fried. You still get this incredible tanginess and kind of soft flavor, soft texture you get from fried green tomatoes. And put some more of the onions on top like that. Last week when I was developing this recipe, I still had a little bit of basil. If you still happen to have some basil, even some basil flowers, you can put some of those on top as well. So we don't have those, for a little bit of color, I'm going to add just a little bit of paprika. And there you have it. Our end of summer, end of fall, end of everything fried green tomato sandwich. Enjoy.